Punch newspaper, the Nation newspaper, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and a host of other newspapers of a review this morning. And of course, afterwards, we'll be going into the paper analysis proper. But I want to take a quick dive at some of the papers this morning. And of course, we'll be launching the Punch newspaper, which will be our first paper of a review this morning. All right, we'll take a look at the front page of the Punch newspaper and see some of the headlines. And of course, we have this one on the sea cable cord. Banks scale down operations as engineers battle to restore services. And more here says troops neutralizes terrorists in Zamfara. Taraba foil Kogi kidnap attempt. Police arrest woman who kidnapped self, 52 others. EFCC charges against Bello politically motivated. And that's what Kogi is saying. Government urged to tackle insecurity as inflation hits 31.7%. What to do if your sex partner dies in your home? And that appears to be some of the lifestyle news there. And still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, we also take this one away. Celebration begins in Olakunleyi's residence as Olubadan is buried. I've never been asked what I bring to the table. Yetunde Bakare, a comment from the entertainment scene. Only legitimate wives should prepare food for husbands during Ramadan. NAFSAT president is handing that down. People mock me for selling akara. Abuja Mill graduate. How poor maintenance and safe practices send electricity consumers to early graves. And of course, still looking at the front page of the Punch newspaper, this is some of the headlines we are getting there. Let's look at the business side of the paper. Government edge to tackle insecurity. All right, we had that earlier. CSC NFIU strengthen collaboration against illicit funds. Man LCCI hail federal government over expatriate levy suspension. Let's also look at the political side of the paper. Lawmakers search for improved governance in parliamentary system. Yadwa replaces Ningi as Northern Senators Forum chairman. Of course, that appears to have been overtaken by so many events because already he has spoken to the new role he's observing right about now. All right, we'll go over to the Nation newspaper and also take a look at some headlines there. We have this one. Economy subsidy beneficiaries smugglers fighting back, says Tinubu. And Olakunleyin is Olubadan designate as Balogun goes home. Internet disruptions to persist for 3 weeks. That's according to Min1. More here says alleged $5.6 million, 74 million naira fraud. Court sends Lagos businessman Akindele to prison. Man jailed 10 years for indecent treatment of child. Custom intercepts arms military uniform at Lagos port. We also have this one. Insecurity. Federal government to recruit more police soldiers. That's according to Adwa. And of course, we do know that he's a Senate committee chairman on Army. And more here says Ghana High Commissioner to Nigeria, Bawa, is dead. And Tinubu appoints Zubaida Umar as new NEMA DG. And we also have this one. Food, electricity, gas push inflation to 31.70%. Kogi government to EFCC and money not missing. All right, we'll take two more. APC PDP clash again over 2024 budget. We can raise 1 billion naira ransom, says parent of abducted Kaduna pupils. All of that are coming from the Nation newspaper this morning. Quickly through the Guardian, we also have a couple of headlines. We have this one. Tinubu reviews criteria for student loan scheme, and it's in the federal government under the directive of President Bola Tinubu has reviewed the criteria for the Nigeria student loan scheme and a new bill aimed at easing access to higher education funding. The Nigerian government had previously faced challenges in this aspect, and of course that's about the news there. And on inflation, this says Nigeria's inflation rate hits 31.70% in February, and that is coming from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. Polls open in Russian votes to extend Putin's reign. Internet outage cripples business operations in Nigeria. Others, federal government seeks new student loan act jail term for offenders. And of course, let's take a look more here on the front page of The Guardian. Ogun Chapel donates school materials to less privileged pupils. Court adjourns country clubs trustees management dispute to June 2. And of course, we have this one, World Consumer Day. firm to equip manufacturers, consumers with free anti-counterfeiting labels. And we take one more before leaving the Guardian newspaper this morning. We have this one: Olodo Bridge, Oluwo commends Makinde, Adeleke, Oyetola. All right, these are some of the headlines here on the Guardian. And of course, let's see if we could take more headlines this morning before delving into the paper analysis proper. All right, we already have Austin Eduma standing by virtually to do this analysis. But before we bring Austin in, we'll take a look at more papers here. And do remember, it's still the Break It On Papers Review here on 32 FM 94.9. And of course, let's quickly look at more papers. And we have this one. This says appeal court dismisses request for disclosure of Jonathan Buhari order asset declaration. And of course, looking at the Premium Times, more here says appeal court. All right, Olubadan late arrest amid tributes. Family announces burial arrangement for late Olubadan. We also have more headlines there on the Premium Times. EFCC investigation details multi-billion naira fraud at Nigeria's rural electrification agency. And this one says Nigerian troops kill 213 terrorists, apprehend 283 others. That appears to be coming from official report here. And let's look at more stories here. Still on the front page here. That's a news engine, Premium Times. We also have this one: FCT Wiki appoint chief of staff. Police arrest woman who faked her own kidnapped, according to official. Our investment in agriculture lifting resident out of poverty. Tells IFAD. And of course, let's quickly look at the Daily Post and also take a couple of headlines. Here on the front page of this news engine, Daily Post, we have appeal court dismisses suit seeking Jonathan Buhari orders asset forms. Okay, more here says insecurity take the fight to the enemy. Gaydam charges police. Kogi Rivers, Kwara record highest food prices in Nigeria. That's according to Nigerian Bureau of Statistics report. European League quarter-final draw unconfirmed. All right, this says European League quarter-final draw confirmed. Few fixtures, in case you want to read more into that. We have Nigeria's inflation increases to 31.70% in February amid rising food prices, and that appears to be in all of the papers this morning. Let's also take a look at more headlines in case you're just joining us. This is the Break It Down Papers Review here on 32 FM 94.9. And of course, this is Daily Post. Ghana Traditional Council, the Sons Group, seeking help purportedly to rehabilitate Palace. Fubara inaugurates governing councils of Rivers varsities. And we also have this one: FCT Wiki appoint ex-Obio Akpo local government area boss Amadi as chief of staff. Rep Umaru proposes constitutional amendment for new constituency in Nasarawa North. Okay, we also have this one: Benue APC vows to unseat Moro Ojema orders in 2027. Those are some of the headlines there on the Daily Post front page this morning. Let's also take a look at the cable and see if you have some other headline touching on some other issues here in the polity. Okay, we'll take a look at the cable NG and also see some couple of headlines. We have this one: Wike Iratikindebe not happy. She wasn't appointed Senate FCT committee. Oh, okay. Chair, and that is coming from Wike. Says Iratikindebe not happy. She wasn't appointed Senate FCT committee chair. We also have this one. This is talking about budget padding. Akpabio has done nothing wrong to step down. APC, okay, rep is coming up with that. It says budget padding. Akpabio has done nothing wrong to step down. One of the APC rep is coming up with that. Okay, that's APC replies PDP. It says Akpabio cannot step down. We also have this one: internet disruption on the sea cable. Okay, repair might take 2 weeks, says Min One. We also have another one here. It says Tinubu beneficiaries of petrol subsidy will fight back, but we will defend Nigerians. Let's see how that goes. We also have DMO, no approvals for fake National Assembly for Eurobound windows. We also have more here. This says Tinubu appoints Zubaida Umar as DG of NEMA. Okay, we take two more. Austin is standing by. Naira falls at Parliament Market, appreciates an official window. APC State Chairman visit Tinubu, asks him to sack non-performing security heads. Interesting. APC State Chairman visit Tinubu, asks him to sack non-performing security heads. And just some of the headlines there on the front page of the Cable NG this morning. Of course, we have Austin Iduma here to do the analysis proper with us. It's great to have you join us, Austin. Good morning.
Good morning, GBOLABO, and thank you for having me.
Fantastic. All right, let's quickly look at some of the headlines. There are a number of screaming headlines. But then this undersea cable cord, it's a major problem in Nigeria as it is now. And I'm wondering that, is this a sabotage or a mishap, so to say, because it's like keeping us in the dark. We've been called the third world country or developing country for a very long time. And now we're having this major scale of disaster where our phone lines have issues. We can access internet data. We can transfer using our bank apps. And up till now, we're still having operations like you can't get notifications even when you transact with your personal bank account up till now. Now, would we call this a sabotage? Because like we're saying, this could take even 2 weeks to fix. What do we make out of this, Austin?
Yeah, once again, GBOLABO, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to our teamly listeners. Yeah, if you look at what has happened, it's quite sad that it happened that way. But it is not a Nigerian issue just like that. It's a submarine cable. Of course, it affected businesses in Nigeria. It's always through the Atlantic. I think the end of it that got issue was not even the Nigerian end. Don't forget this submarine cable, the one you call subsea cable also, it came all the way from Europe to some other part of West Africa. You know, it provides digital services for network provider and all of that. And the major operator of that particular subsea cable, the name of that company is Main One. So they have come out to say that when we have had this disruption, we are working on it. The situation is gradually becoming under control. However, it will take a minimum of like 2 weeks before everything is resolved. So whether sabotage or not, this is not purely about Nigeria. That's the truth of the matter. But it's affecting a lot of transactions in Nigeria. I'm aware that telecommunication provider, they are not being able to service their customer. Making call is extremely difficult. Even personally, I've had to do 1 or 2 transactions, no notification, nothing. You don't even know what is going on in your account and what have you. The major financial institution in the country also rely heavily on this network communication to be able to deliver their services to their customer. So it's just a situation where that we have to bear for this period especially. And I'm also aware that financial institutions have also come out to say that, oh, what we can do is to restrict operation. Let's limit our operation so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to still serve our customer. The men of the underworld will not capitalize on that to be able to siphon money from people's account. And don't also forget too, this is almost like a generic situation. So if I can't get internet to do banking business, the 419 that want to have access to my account too does not also have that internet. So that is a major problem for all of us. But I just think that we just have to bear it for some time now. This is not something that is peculiar with a particular bank or a particular network provider, for example. Of course, I understand too that some of them, their network are still a little bit stronger than the other. I don't want to mention the telecommunication per se for now. You know, we have Intercontinental, we have also indigenous, we have also have so many other factors that are responsible for that. But by and large, this subsea cable the interconnectivity connects Nigeria and some other West African country. They are also experiencing the same thing, because this is not just a national problem. It's like a sub-regional problem that we just have to deal with for now. They are working on it. They are only telling us that for us to go back to where we were, it might take a minimum of 2 weeks or so. Not as if we can't still do 1 or 2 things on the internet or on our various accounts as our bank customers.
All right, Austin, let's look at the fears of President Tinubu now. I don't know who is referring to. Tinubu says beneficiaries of petrol subsidy will fight back, but will defend Nigerians. Would we say the president is referring to his predecessor? For instance, many people had thought that Buhari government will be quizzed in terms of some of the spendings and subsidies and some of the monies that went into taxes, especially petroleum taxes in Nigeria. And of course, many people already also asking questions that where are the subsidy monies, even under the Tinubu government, going into? Now, would we say this is a lame excuse, or the president is accusing even his predecessor of mishandling what appears to be subsidy money? Because they're saying there are some cartels who would fight back. Who are these cartels? Who are these smugglers that Tinubu cannot apprehend and deal with decisively?
Yes, for example, if the president talked about past beneficiary of subsidy, it might not necessarily be Buhari administration alone. It was not Buhari administration that started subsidy. Subsidy regime started quite some years back. In short, it started with this democracy, this Fourth Republic, for example. What I want the president to focus on, of course, no doubt, corruption has a way of fighting back. Those who have benefited heavily from subsidy, they will definitely want to fight back. But then the government has all the resources in terms of security apparatus, state architecture to be able to deal with whatever situation that is coming on board. That's just the truth of the matter. Because subsidy has never benefited the poor. That's just the truth. When subsidy was being paid, of course, those who are in charge, the rich, continue to extort the poor as a result of that. When subsidy is removed, it is still the same poor people that will bear the brunt. I think apart from just making that as a political statement, what President Tinubu needs to do is to actually let us know how he has defended the poor, because he said in that speech that he will continue to defend the poor. He will make sure that Nigerians benefit from it. At what time are we going to benefit? This is the issue that we are talking about. It's been a while now that the subsidy has been removed. A lot of promises were made at that time. So many people, including myself, believe that subsidy at some point was no longer sustainable. Let us remove it, free up funds in certain area to be able to look at other critical sectors of the economy that will benefit the poor masses. If you look at the things that take money away from the common man, you talk about transportation majorly, you talk about health, and another big issue, you talk about the issue of education. Has the government been able to address this? So that's the truth. So let's deal with those who are past beneficiaries of subsidy who want to fight back. You can deal with them. You are the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. If you feel that some people have cases to answer, bring them to justice. But the truth of the matter is that what have we been able to do for the common man in the country? Because the common man bear the brunt. For example, when there was subsidy, the man in Bere, for example, a poor man in Bere and Dangote, they buy the same liter of fuel, the same amount. You understand? So it has never really benefited the poor, even the subsidy regime that we are talking about. So let President go beyond rhetoric. Let him map out strategy. Some money has been saved. The removal of subsidy translated to more money for the federal government and more money for the state government. Where is this money? How has this money impacted positively on the life of an average Nigeria? This is what we are talking about. So if care is not taken, it might just be like the former administration that the president is talking about. We want the government to be more purposeful. We want the government to be more proactive in such a way that we want to see evidence. We want to see how it translates to a better life for an average Nigeria. That is what we are talking about. The government promised us CNG buses. Let them bring them out. They promise us effective transportation. Let them bring them out. For example, if the public transportation system is working effectively I don't have to put my car on the road. We have some cities of the world where not too many people in that city have their personal transportation, for example. Those who live in New York, for example, over 95% of them do not have personal car. And some other smart cities of the world like that, over 95 of them, over 95% do not have personal car because the public transportation system is top-notch. I can live in Ibadan and decide to work in Abuja. I go on a daily basis and I come back. I know of some people who stay in Luton, for example, Luton in the United Kingdom, and they work as far as Birmingham City. They go and they come back, maybe like 3, 4, 5 hours journey. They can still make it because the public transportation system is top-notch. So President Tinubu should understand and come to the reality of the time that people are hungry. Fight the enemy of the state. As you are doing that, make sure that those that you are fighting for, they don't die of hunger. Make sure those that you claim you are fighting for do not die of starvation, because an hungry man is certainly an angry man. That's the truth.
All right, let's look at Wike now. Wike appears to be wielding much muzzle, and of course, he's been speaking very tough. Wike says Ireti Kindigbe not happy she wasn't appointed Senate FCT committee chair. That's a big allegations against Ireti Kindigbe. We do also remember that Kindigbe said Wike does not have the executive powers to make threats of demolition of illegal buildings in the territory. In January, the lawmaker also claimed that Wike had refused to respond to her letters and messages in the wake of the rising insecurity in Abuja. Now, would we say that there's some sort of tyranny here, looking at the attitude of Wike right from when he was in Rivers State, and now this is FCT, and now you still have him have such attitude? How many enemies can a minister of FCT make? And now, how much more will he help the Federal Capital Territory, looking at the posture of Wike himself here?
Yes, let's look at the cross of the matter. First of all, if you look at the altercation, as far as I'm concerned, the altercation is needless. The Ireti Kindigbe is not the first senator that will come out of FCT. You understand? The idea that a senator will now be saying that the minister does not have power to pull down structure that were constructed illegally. In short, at some point, I couldn't believe my ears that the senator said that he made mention of the word illegal. So if structures are illegal and you are saying that they can't be pulled down, what are you talking about? It means that you are just fighting the political fight, for example. So the comment that Wike made that, oh, she's angry because they didn't make her FCT Senate
but
committee
let's put it this way. What if she meant that you cannot go authoritatively to demolish people's houses, or those who has flouted the laws by building on seaway lines and the rest by not getting a court paper? Maybe that's what she's saying, that you must get a court process to move in and demolish structures. What if that's what Ireti Kindigbe is saying here?
But she didn't make mention of that in that statement. Well, for the purpose of argument, I will adopt your position. The truth of the matter is that how is she aware, based on your latest perception now, how is she aware that court paper were not obtained? As FCT minister started the demolition, has demolition not happened in FCT before? Are there not restricted areas that structures are not supposed to spring up? Why are people bringing up structure in those areas? So these are the issue. You can't use illegality to correct another form of illegality. I don't think it is needful for the FCT minister and the senator representing FCT to see themselves as rival. In my view, they should be partner in progress. And don't also forget, this is the first time that we'll be having a Southerner, a full-fledged Southerner as FCT minister, substantive minister for the FCT. A lot of people are not happy about that. I don't want to go into detail. You understand what I'm saying? And I know our listeners too, some of them will understand what I'm saying. A lot of people are not happy with that. I know some people will bring the history and say, oh, he's not the first FCT minister. We are talking about substantive FCT minister, that a president will appoint a Southerner as FCT minister. A lot of people believe that, oh, this place belongs to us. It does not belong to Nigeria. Some people believe and they have that perception. And this government has said, no, Abuja does not belong to anybody. If you say Lagos is cosmopolitan, Lagos is no man's land, how come you are saying that Abuja is some people's land and some people it is their birthright to always become FCT minister? So there are a whole lot of issues. I believe that Wike should follow the rule of law. If you need to demolish structure, it should go by way of the law. If there are illegal structure, you serve them notices, they must go. There is no sentiment, there should be no politics about it. Ireti Kigibe should look for what can benefit the FCT. As a lawmaker, what can you bring to the table to better the lot of the people of the FCT, not to be in opposition or as a rival individual with the FCT minister. At the end of the day, it is the people that will bear the brunt. Wike is saying that, oh, maybe because she was not appointed this or that. I don't know where he got that fact from. If there are things that are not right, let them be done. The senator representing FCT cannot at every time be in opposition to the FCT minister or the federal government, irrespective of the party that you come from. That is just the way it is. The FCT minister is just like the governor of the FCT. The senator is a senator representing the FCT. So what should be the driving point is to bring dividends of democracy, to bring good to the people. This altercation, in my view, is needless. There should be no altercation whether somebody wanted to be FCT this or that. If there are structures that need to go, because most of the time we always do this, even in Ibadan, in everywhere in Nigeria, people will put up illegal structure. When it is time for demolition to come, people will build under power line, for example. When it is time for demolition to come, we will now be talking about human face. Oh, let's use human face. Let's use human face. Let's do this. Let's do that. The law does not recognize anything like human face. There's no sentiment as far as the law is concerned. If there are some people that have done something wrong, let them face the music. That is what we are talking about. In the first instance, you shouldn't even do anything wrong. And if we talk about demolition of structure in the FCT, are you talking about the poor alone? How many poor people have structure in the Eyebrow area of the FCT? This is what we are talking about. It is still within the same camp that they belong. The same politicians who have extorted the people, who have put up structure where structure ought not to be. Are there not places in Ibadan that you see structure and you yourself, you are not an architect, you are not a building engineer, you know that this structure is not supposed to be there. By the time a government wakes up tomorrow and say this structure must go down, we will now say, oh, let's use human face. Let us not do it like that. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like that. So that's it. So as far as I'm concerned, let the FCT minister and the FCT senator work as partner in progress to deliver dividends of democracy to the people of the FCT. In terms of security, we can need to do more. I think he has started taking some steps that is improving security in the FCT because that is the seat of power. So the FCT minister need to do more in terms of security. The senator too should not just come out to criticize. The senator should also put some things in place, partner with some other agencies or even with the FCT minister to better secure the life of the people of the FCT. So that is the way I see it.
All right, Austin, let's look at the inflation of Nigeria. It's rising every day, 31.70% in February, amid rising food prices. It's like a bleak period for Nigerians. I don't know how many Nigerians are going to cope in the next coming few weeks because I don't understand what it will be like to get staples in Nigeria. Many are complaining, many bitterly. And of course, you have instances of some people even saying that some people medically are placed on some certain food. And quote and unquote, those food used to be expensive then. For instance, you say you have to go all vegetable because of the blood sugar level. Now, such people, how do they survive in this economy? And we're having the inflation at 31.70%. Then we still have semantics coming from Wale Edun Kodoso. Now, how much more can we trust these people?
Yes, I think inflation has gotten to an all-time high, the highest in recent history. Maybe let's say from 1996 or so. This is the highest that we have gotten. And I will also point it to you that it's a conservative figure because you are asking that how are Nigerians coping. In the pocket of an average Nigerian, inflation is more than 31%. I don't know whether you agree with me.
Right.
So, yes, these are just conservative statistics, data, and what have you. In practical and in real term, inflation is far, far more than that, because the value of money is what money can buy. Margaret Thatcher once said that inflation is an unarmed robber. Just keep money, let inflation come. You will suddenly realize that you do not have money.
And so how do we regulate the markets? Now, another issue is regulating the prices of food and commodities, because we do know that Nigerians, once something is high, they don't want to bring it down. Even when they realize that the raw material in getting those things have really come down in the market, they still want that price to remain at that level. Now, how do we regulate the market? Is it possible in a free economy like Nigeria, where you have a lot of private sectors in place?
This was part of my contention with you on this program last week, the human factor, the Nigerian factor. So many of us believe that it's all about government, but we also have man's inhumanity to man. We have other human factor. But what the government can do is to look at other area. Inflation might still go further than this. Let's enhance food production, for example. Enhancing food production as a result of creating and also enhancing security in the country, because people must be encouraged to go back to the farm. Governors must be partner in progress.
Are the farms safe? During the week, Austin, are the farms safe to say people should go back to the farm? Okay.
That is what I'm talking about. That is the point I'm making. Farms are not really safe as of now. The government must make sure that farms are safe. The government must create that security. And don't also forget, we need to also cushion the effect by way of production. Because if we cannot produce, go and check the table. Go and check the CPI table, the Consumer Price Index table. Food inflation is the highest. It has always been the highest. So, which means that prices of food are going up. It is not as if these food are not there. But some, they are there. And at times, people want to sit on it to cause artificial and unnecessary inflation. So we have to look at it, and CBN too must look at their policy. Let CBN look at their policy. I still see the central bank still using the same old method to want to control inflation by way of hiking interest rates. Of course, at that point, they had no choice, but they should also think outside the box. Let's look at some other conventional and indigenous approach to attacking inflation. If we look at it, we'll be able to go. Let the federal government take the lead by way of aggressive and massive food production. There are some places in the world that do not even have good weather. There are some places they don't even have river, they don't have water, but they can feed themselves. How come we cannot feed ourselves as a people? Why can't we be able to feed ourselves? Nigeria is so blessed that anything you put on the ground will germinate. Go to somewhere in Mabila, for example. We produce the best form of wheat in that area of the country, cotton and everything. So every other part, before this oil discovery, for example, regions used to almost be self-sufficient. We have the cocoa pyramid, we have the groundnut pyramid, we have the palm oil plantation. We have some of these things. Where are they today? We have arable land. What are the governors doing? What is the government doing? We must ensure that we are able to feed ourselves. Especially in southern Nigeria, they are doing so much in the northern part of the country in terms of food production. They are doing fantastically well. How to tell you that they are doing better is that you see this tomato. There's a way they call it. I don't want to say, but those of you that are women, you know what I'm talking about. They will say, "Oh, this tomato is not available. Is this other tomato that is available?" Can't we cultivate our own? Let us cultivate our own. The other time, Niger State governor said, "Oh, no food truck should leave the state until people are sufficiently catered for." We started shouting. Northerners are trying, even with the level of terrorism and insecurity. They produce more food than us in the south. So what is wrong with us? Why can't we go into production? I'm happy in the news I read that the Niger Delta Development Commission had decided to partner with rice producer to boost and cultivate rice in the Niger Delta region. Why can't we do the same thing? I love that initiative because it's a right thing to be done.
Yes, you talked about the northern region making more food production, but then let's look at industrialization. You can have every state grow at the same rate. Now, a Lagos state is more or less like a populated state where you have a lot of industries. You don't have much of arable land like what you have in the northern region, where you can walk large parts of land without anything on their soil. Now, if you compare the northern region to the south, where there are a lot of high-rising buildings and the rest, are we not one as a nation? Why can't we have some region doing major crop production, then you have industrialization happening in other regions of the country? Since we're one, why do we have to grow at the same rate? Why do we have to do the same thing? Is that not the major problem we're having here in Nigeria, where Osun State feels that it's better off than some certain state, and you also have your state also having the bigger elbow and saying that they're also better off than some other states? The Eugenism here, is that not the major problem we're having presently in the country?
It's not a major problem, GBOLABO. There is what we call comparative advantage. There is nobody that is not useful. There is nobody that is not good, at least for one thing or the other. You talk about Lagos, they do not have the land, but there was a time they partnered with 𝐃𝐈𝐒 for 𝐃𝐈𝐒 rice. 𝐃𝐈𝐒 is the highest producer of rice in Nigeria. Excuse me, I just told you that the Niger Delta Development Commission want to partner with some rice producer to cultivate rice in the Niger Delta, because we have a lot of water level. It is not even all the states in the north. There are some that produce yam. There are some that go into tomato. There are some that go into millet. There are some that go into other form of grain. And I told you some do beans production, some do rice production. But we must be noted for something, for example, like Okyogun area of Oyo State is the food basket of Oyo State. How well have we been able to harness that? I'm not saying that Oyo State should plant cocoa, or should plant cocoa, these other people should plant cocoa. No, look at your own area of comparative advantage. What can you do best? That is what we are talking about. Lagos, you talk about Lagos. Lagos do not have the land, yet they are partnering with those that have the land. Lagos have one of the biggest rice mill in West Africa. Lagos, I know you may not know, so many people may not know. That is it. But they need the food, the rice paddy, to be able to produce and refine rice, because we have the best. Our rice is certainly still the best, one of the best in the world in terms of nutrition and what have you. The rice that is coming from Thailand, do you know what they use in the preservation? Do you know how many months it will take before it gets to Nigeria? While we were growing up,
but we've been eating it and we are not dead.
When they are cooking rice, rice in the neighborhood, you will feel it. You will smell it, GBOLABO. When we are cooking rice in the neighborhood, you will smell it from afar off. You will be hearing the aroma of rice. But today, go and put rice on fire. You are cooking the rice, you won't even hear any nice aroma, because it has been polished, it has been parboiled, and what have you. So let our governors, our local government, piloted by the federal government, go into aggressive and massive food production. The point I'm making is that there are some countries of the world that do not even have water. They don't have river. But we have everything in abundance. We have both natural and human resources, and yet we cannot take care of ourselves. If there is anything that we should lack, it shouldn't be food. It's a slap on us that we can't even feed ourselves, honestly.
Quite very instructive, but we have to pay some bills right about now. We'll be back very shortly afterwards. Please do stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
ẹ kú náwó òwúyè ẹ sì kú náwó ìyàwó dórí sísí ilé tuntun àwòdámi ẹnu ẹ kú náwó ọjọ́ bí ẹ sì kú ìnáwó retirement ẹ dájú ẹ̀ sọ́nà yóò kò láyọ̀ o àmọ́ mo fẹ́ rán yín létí kinní kan ni gbogbo ètò ló ti tò kalẹ̀ yìí tẹ́ ẹ náwó rẹpẹtẹ ẹ ti sanwó eléré ẹ sanwó aláṣẹ onígbàgàrí àti gba tiẹ̀ ẹ sanwó ráìsà dórí àwọn bánsà àmọ́ ṣá o ó kú kinní kan tẹ́ ẹ kà sí ṣùgbọ́n tó yẹ ká ẹ náwó gidi lé lórí ìyẹn gangan ni Parrot Extra Magazine ni wọ́n ṣe ń rán yín létí pé gbogbo ìnáwó tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe yẹ kó lákọọ́lẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìtàn tó rọ̀ mọ́ àti máa ṣe bọ̀ rẹ nínú ayé lórí àwòrán ojúlùmọ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ alájọbí tẹ́ bá ya fọ́tò lójú agbo kì í sọnù ó sọdún méjìlá ló tún fẹ́ tún yẹ̀ wò tọ́ lọ́ọ́ náwó sínú àká fún àwọn ìran tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn àkọọ́lẹ̀ kì í parẹ́ o Parrot Extra Magazine làwọn tó láròjinlẹ̀ ń lò fún gbogbo ayẹyẹ wọn ilé ìjọba gan òfin wọn ṣeré lórí ilé iṣẹ́ àdáni Parrot Extra oníkọ́ kàn sí tó bá láyẹyẹ ṣe o 08055001736 08055001736 lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára www.pmparrot.com kàn sí PM Parrot káyẹyẹ rẹ̀ ó gbìnàyà.
If you've not tried us, here's why you're missing out. First, we're a licensed microfinance bank. Also, get our reliable POS when you open a business account or a debit card that works with a personal account. You can instantly open an account from anywhere for reliability, security, convenience, and speed. You only need one bank. MoneyPoint! Download the app or find an agent near you to get started. MoneyPoint, powering dreams.
On the action with Betano, your exciting destination for sports betting. Enjoy an award-winning experience with amazing betting options, cash outs and missions, as well as other features. Join now and get a welcome bonus of up to 200,000 naira. Betano.ng, the game starts now.
Ẹ̀yin fans mi. It's okay. Ẹ lọ sórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ ní 32FM 949 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ àsáàpù. It's okay.
For the top 10 banging songs across Nigeria.
Top 10 super songs across Africa.
The Top 10 Countdown is your show.
Saturdays 12 to 1 p.m. with 𝐷𝐾𝐈𝐒 and King Kenny.
Ramadan Day oṣù àlùbáríkà ní 32FM 94.9 Àjàkẹ́rin Cocoa náà wà nìbàdàn ọ̀nà ń kí wa pé a kú àmójúbà o múmi náà máa kú ọdún ó mà tún ti yá ká wá ṣiṣẹ́ ládàá ká so nígbọ̀wọ́ ètò iye tágbára bá ká ìṣẹ́jú márùn-ún mẹ́wàá tàbí ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún ọgbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú wákàtí kan lówó kékeré ọyọ́ kàgbéra ká lọ rà lága Ramadan hello Mr. Ayédùn 07083196095 àwọn gan ló máa gbé tàbí kẹ́pẹ́ Yusuf lórí nọ́mbà yìí 08146113680 àwọn ló máa gbé Ramadan yìí máa dùn wá sọ̀pọ̀ ọdún.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM 94.9, the antidote to depression.
You're welcome back. You're still on to Break It On Papers Review here on 32 FM 94.9. And of course, we've been looking at some of the front pages of the national dailies here in Nigeria. And Austin Dimo has been virtually been on virtual platform this morning doing the paper analysis with us. Austin, you were going to finish your line of thoughts before we went on that commercial break.
Yes, one of the ways by which we can tackle inflation, especially food deflation, is to go into massive production of food in the country. It is practically doable. It's something that we can do because we have the weather favoring us. We have the climatic condition favoring us. We also have vast arable land. And I was landing at that time that based on comparative advantage, there is no state that cannot produce anything. That's not the truth. Nobody is saying that every state should produce the same thing. Nobody is saying that. Even in the northern part of the country that I made reference to, they were not all producing the same thing. Look at Lagos. They are disadvantaged. They don't have the land. But they have to partner with those who have the land to be able to produce this rice in large quantity. So states can partner. That is why I said I love the initiative of the NDDC to partner with some private sector to make Niger Delta region rice production up in the country because they have the water, they have everything.
All right, Justin, we have a caller here already. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, we're getting feedback. The numbers to call in this morning on the Break It Down People's Review is 070-55,949 or 08097,949. And for our international audience, you can actually also call +234 90 62,949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Ade from UI.
All right, please go ahead, Ade.
Gosling has said right thing that people should cultivate a farming culture. I that is speaking to you when I was in London State. We were to buy clothes. You have to go and our daddy give us our own land to cultivate farm. We know ourselves a cassava and things like that. Everybody, we did not know anything like bread. Even rice used to be Christmas food. But what I discovered that anytime I travel to Indo now is that people cannot do that for so many reasons. Those places, those farms that you have to do, and nobody will attack you. Elements are there. Boko Haram, they call them bandits, they are there. Why is it that government cannot empower these Amotekun people? God knows. And let them be monitoring farms across Yoruba land. Is it difficult for this governor to do? It is very easy. If I happen to be governor, the money I'm looting, I will use it to every farm. You come there, then someone will go to farm. Then finally, the 𝐾𝐈𝐒 should be careful with these people and let him concentrate on his conscience and take care of them. He should save his life, her life. I'm warning her. These are the best of today.
All right, thank you so much for that. Of course, you're still on to Break It On People's Review here on 32FM 94.9. We have a caller here. Okay, we also take some calls over here. All right, I hope this will be loud enough. Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
All right, what's the name are you calling from? Where are you calling us from? All right, please go ahead.
I'm talking about countries like US, yes, your analysis was taking over there. But in Nigeria, not so. You understand me? This APC government, one thing about me is that most of the time I used to be emotional. Because the reason why is that there is no reason why we should be talking. The needs for plenty. I'm going to talk of human resources. I'm going to talk of natural resources, agricultural resources, everything. We are so endowed in this country. But we have government that is ruthless. You know, NPC at trial level, they are just groping the dark. Look at what you read this morning. The Minister of Housing is going to Ondo State to give them 1,000 housing units. That's what they need in Ondo State. And they said they are going to replicate it in all statistics of India, making 30,000 out. That's
all right. Well, I have another caller here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is John 𝐂𝐈𝐿 calling from Maduwo.
All right, John, go ahead.
I want to make a comment on the issue of subsidy beneficiaries, in which Mr. President make a comment about it. As far as I'm concerned, if truly that Mr. President wants to deal with them, I think before you remove the subsidy, Mr. President will have to deal with them. To me, I don't see Mr. President can deal with these people because many of these people, as far as I'm concerned, they have one or two relationships with Mr. President.
Thank you so much, John 𝐂𝐈𝐿. We also have another call here. And hello, good morning. Where are you calling us from? All right, Tolu. Thank you for joining us. How is London this morning?
I'm actually outside London.
Oh, okay. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Yeah. What I actually want to say is that what I decided to say is that when we we blame government so many times, but what can we do ourselves? We have so many associations like NLC, NUT, and other associations, why can't we just break up these things? Like your NLC, show government how to do it. Let people that are working under you create a special market for them, buy something in bulk, sell it to them. If you are teachers, you have taken the pressure off the market. You have taken the pressure off Bodija. Let teachers in the association their deduction. Let them use it to buy food so that they can always distribute among themselves and they will buy it for cheap. With that, the pressure to go to the market where general people go to will be reduced. You don't have to wait for government in everything. Let NUT, NLC, let them have farm, employ people, distribute this thing among your people. Show government how to do it. That is how it is done somewhere else. Then you can criticize government in a better way when you show example. If our government has refused to do the right thing, then let me allow other people to talk.
All right, thank you so much, Tolu, for that. Okay, the numbers again are 070-55,949 or 080-979,949. Our time is actually fast spent. Austin, what do we make out of this? Okay, before we go to Austin, let's take this one. Hello, good morning.
GBOLABO, good morning.
Good morning, okay. All right.
There are cooperatives that are actually getting food and other things for people at far lesser rates. So it's actually happening. So then, I want to say something. Austin, I agree with you in terms of Wike an issue. But the question now is, some of those allocations, somebody allocated it, criminally though. But some of those people might have it. So who is that ghost that is actually now bringing up this trouble? They allocated those things and now there is trouble.
Is actually running very fast, and of course we have a few comments here on Facebook. Okedirin Babatunde says subsidy is gone, but subtly introduced again by the current administration to cushion the economic hardship. Since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration know these people, let him go after them using the resources of the government. Of course, that's the much we can take on the program this morning. But Austin Idumo, any final shot, especially looking at what Tolu has said, saying that elsewhere in the world, it's always a people-oriented movement. Can we achieve that here in Nigeria?
We can. It's not really common in Nigeria. That's the major problem. We have donations all over the place. That is, donation help community to thrive. As it is in Nigeria now, people are suffering. There's no role of the rich people. People from the private sector, what are they doing? They are keeping the money to themselves while people are hungry. Things are difficult for people. You see organizations declaring billions of naira when people are lamenting, people are hungry. People in the service sector declaring billions of naira. So this is what we are talking about. Government alone may not be able to do it. Of course, government is not doing well. Let the private sector, let individuals come in to stand at the gap, especially for the common good of the people.
All right, Austin, we must say a big thank you for doing this with us this morning. To all our callers and those who send messages on our social media platform, we also say a big thank you to you. Do remember that Baba Fender is up next, and we are also live on Facebook, 32FM 949 Ibadan, also for Baba Fender. My name is GBOLABO, Famous School. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.